5:30, so we'll call to order this meeting for Monday, June 6th. Jordan, would you start us off with the roll call, please?
Please respond by stating present. Councilmember Ronayne.
Present.
Remley.
Present.
Lunsman.
Present.
Reif.
Present.
Johnson.
Present.
Reinbold.
Present.
Langer.
Present.
Rux.
Present.
Mayor Shoneman.
Present. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. First order of business will be to approve this week's agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilman Remley. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we'll approve our minutes for the meeting of May 23rd. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reinbold, a second from Councilman Rux. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. We'll move along to our open forum where we have Shelley Westerhire from the Downtown Association joining us here tonight. Shelley, welcome. Make sure your little green light is on.
Got it.
The floor is
Hello.
yours.
Good evening. I will be respectful of my 10 minutes. Shelley Westerhire from the Aberdeen Downtown Association. Just wanted to do a quick follow-up from our presentation a little while back. We were requested very much with Councilman Rux's request for some data, and we obviously wanted to present that to you from some numbers that we have from the Downtown Association. I first want to start with some data on the digital world because that is very real. Obviously, just want to dive right into it. Some Facebook impressions we want to start with. When we're talking about impressions, we're talking about eyeballs on it. So if we're talking about Facebook and what people are looking at, if somebody's looking at something 3 times, then that is 3 impressions on it. And it's going to be what's called one reach. So that's one person, 3 impressions, meaning they've looked at it 3 different times. So I do have something that I'm going to hand out to you at the end, so you don't have to really take all of this in because I know it's going to be a lot of numbers. But looking at that, so we've increased our impressions over the last year by 200% and reaches, meaning unique people, by 129%. In the last, on average, when we're looking at MailChimp, which is another form in which we're looking at, we communicate that way with our retailers, with our volunteers, and with our event attendees, is the way that we do our MailChimp. We do that about on average once a month. We've increased that unique people and reach by 146%. The open rate on that is 30%, and that's on target with nonprofits. We've also added texting as a new channel in which we've added as far as communication. We've got about 3,900 people in that channel at this time. That's even a better option for us than email because with that, it's the most direct channel that we have, and the open rate on that is typically well over 90%. So that's very successful for us. Most of the efforts that we have send people to our Facebook page, but we do drive people to our website, obviously, and in the last 12 months, we've had about 19,000 sessions and visits on that. But more impressive than that is the fact that the metric for people moving around on our Facebook page, or excuse me, on our website has increased dramatically. So we've got, when they get to our Facebook page, it's increased 40% how people are, for lack of a better term, surfing around. So they're moving around a lot more, which means that we're engaging people a lot more. Another thing that we've done is obviously we are looking to engage and create family-friendly events in downtown Aberdeen. And so what we've also been able to gauge is that the average age of about 42% of our individuals are between the age of 25 and 44 that are visiting our website. That's screen time. What we are more wanting to dive into is actually people in downtown Aberdeen. And what we did was we were able to get into a software that was recommended to us by Downtown Sioux Falls, where we can actually take public data and quantify that more into specific areas. And we were specifically able to target that into downtown Aberdeen. and take that data, look into it, and actually look into the number of people that are in the business improvement district at any given time, and actually look back and compare it. And that's the information that I will leave with you. But I will definitely overview that here just real briefly. We were been able to pull that information, and I will tell you, just to overview real quickly, what we are looking at is visitors. So we're not looking at residents. We've taken that information out, and we've also taken out employees. So this is specifically visitors, and it's from May of 2021 through April of 2022. So we're looking at, we have had 147,500 visitors. So that's different people. Close to 1.8 million visits in downtown Aberdeen between May of 2021 through April of 2022. We've been able to tell you that 20% of them are between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. and 35% of them are between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. So obviously they like our restaurants and our bars. And that bodes well for our triple B tax, which obviously refills our bucket, which is a good thing. Another important statistic that we like is the fact that 76% of them are from outside of downtown, or excuse me, are from outside of Aberdeen. We can tell you where they come from. We can tell you that most of them, a lot of them, come from Watertown. They come from Ipswich. They come from Britain. We can tell you that they like to visit on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. We can give you information on all kinds of other statistics. One of the ones that I like the most is we can dive into specifics when it comes to our concerts. Let's just say we can go into specifically on a date, we can look back at our concerts and say that this year compared to 2 years ago on Sizzlin' Summer Nights, on whatever concerts. Last year, our concerts for 2021 had it at 7,761 attendees over 3 concerts. We can tell you that on average, it's grown 25% over the last year. One of the best statistics that I like is that 62% of the people spend at least 1 hour before our concerts in downtown Aberdeen or 1 hour after our concerts in downtown Aberdeen. So they're supporting the businesses before or after the concerts for at least 1 hour. And so not only are we helping with the quality of life by having the concerts, but they're obviously supporting the businesses. They're supporting small businesses before and after. We have people coming, the number, 29% growth in the last year. It shows that 29% growth in the last year of people attending and doing stuff in downtown Aberdeen. We can compare it to other communities, how it stacks up. In how we stack up with different Brookings, Watertown. I don't know if people would be surprised here, but they might be surprised in other towns if we were to say that we have more visitors in downtown Aberdeen during the day than Brookings or Watertown does. We have more visitors during the day here than Brookings or Watertown, and we have that data that shows that. But we have all of this here. We have comparables. We can do it and show all that to you and give you all that information. But we just wanted to stop, give you that information. I can hand this all out to you. I know I only had a few minutes to give you the information, but I'd be more than happy to answer any questions if you want to give me a call or an email, anything like that.
Thank you for getting that information.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Shelley, appreciate the update on that. Very good information. With that, we'll move along to our consent calendar, where we've got quite a number of event permits, lottery notices, requests for street use, and the like. Would someone like to forward a motion on that?
Move to approve. Second.
And a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Lunsman for our approval of our entire consent calendar. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Thank you, Ron. I want to pass it along. We move along to our old business, where we've got the possible second reading, final adoption of ordinance 220501, which rezones property described as Lot 1 at the Briscoe Addition, which is at 224 First Avenue Southeast from I-2 and C3R4 to C3R4. Brett, anything special about this one?
No changes from last meeting, Mayor.
Passed without reservation last time we met. Can I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Remley and a second from Councilman Lunsman. Any questions for Brett or statements from the council before we take our final vote on this ordinance? Jordan, roll call please.
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got our possible second reading and final adoption of an ordinance titled 220502, which repeals sections of our city code which were duplicative to our existing statutes or other sections within our own code. Ron, anything new on this one?
No, Mayor Schonman, I'd like to add that I don't want to make a whole lot of fanfare out of this, but a little bit. This was something that I had been talking to the council about for about a year, that we would do this review and try to identify duplicative statutes. And that's what this was. So again, I've heard no comments from the public, and we would recommend approval of the second reading and a final adoption.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilman Reinbold. Any final words on this one? Jordan?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the possible approval of employment agreement with newly appointed Finance Officer Jordan McClellan. Jordan, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, Joe, what can you tell us about this agreement?
Yes, thank you. Last week you selected Jordan to fill that position permanently, and you authorized me to negotiate a contract with him. You have that in front of you. That's one of the three positions that the council appoints, and this contract is similar in form to the other two, and I recommend approval.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Rux and a second from Councilman Reinbold on this one. Anyone got anything to add? Performed really well in the interview, I thought. Jordan, would you give us a roll call, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the possible acceptance of an $18,896,900 grant award from the state of South Dakota Board of Water and Natural Resources for wastewater treatment plant improvements, as well as to authorize Joe, city manager, to sign those grant agreements. Joe, what can you tell us about that?
Yes, I get to talk about lots of good news tonight, and this is probably some of the biggest. That to get a grant for this type of project is pretty unheard of. So the state authorized use of ARPA funds for this. It's being spread throughout the state and is very beneficial, and we got a nice chunk of that. So again, almost $19 million in grants. You also pledged the city's ARPA funds, so those will spring into effect before we go get a loan for the rest of it. And we're working on those details now, and we'll be bringing that to you. But I happily recommend approval.
Move approval. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Johnson. Was that you, Mark? Second from Councilman Remley. Any questions on this one? Long time coming. And Justin, what have you got?
Was this amount more than we anticipated?
No, with the standards, if they would match dollar for dollar up to $5 million, so that's the first 5, and then the 13 million is represents about 30% of the remaining project.
Okay, thank you.
Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the possible approval of Resolution 220604R, which creates a tax increment finance district, otherwise known as TIF 38, which would aid in the development of Primrose retirement communities as well as a public park. We've got owner-developer JT Properties Investment. I'm going to have Joe kick things off, and then it looks as though we also have Jim Thayers in the audience who would like to say a few words as well. So, Joe, would you start this conversation, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is an exciting project. It increases our senior living services, also some independent living, a park in an area that doesn't have parkland, and really starts to develop in an area of town that has been underdeveloped. And it's kind of growing around it, but there's this hole in the middle of town right there, so this will be good. So I can't say enough good things about it. It's a good opportunity to use TIF to fulfill several community needs, and I think this is a great project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Ronayne and a second from Councilman Rux. You guys are still welcome to say a few things. I think most of us have reviewed the packet and taken a look. Clint, what have you got?
This is actually, I think, one of the first TIFs we've done like this that actually has money set aside out of the TIF for a park. And I think that is a really neat and interesting idea. The only comment I have is this close to retirement community, I see that it has basketball equipment with it, when I think pickleball probably would be a little more appropriate. But yeah, I know, but it is one of those where I'm just happy to see, because there really isn't a park up in that northeast part of town, and I just commend you for actually putting that forward.
If I may,
Councilman Ronayne?
I noticed the same thing. This is and I think the comments that the city manager made are absolutely accurate. This is really important to our community. Throughout northeastern South Dakota, we have had elderly retirement homes closing, and I'm thinking particularly about nursing homes. And so there is a pent-up need, and to bring this to Aberdeen is huge. And I commend Mr. Thayers for putting it in our community. This is a great location for it. I love the park, and I am excited about this project.
Well, thank you, Councilman. Anyone else? Did you want to say anything then, Jim, or you think it's been taken care of?
I think it's taken care of. I just said in the park, it's all preliminary, and we'll work with the city to make it however is best for everybody, but yeah.
And I know that the TIF district entirely encompasses the property that you've got. Is there additional land that will be developed for something else, or is 100% of the land spoken for between the park and the property itself?
Correct.
Okay.
100% of the land is included in the park and the Primrose development itself, correct. With a deed that will come after the park development to the city, but we need to complete our share of the improvements while operating in the TIF. So.
Thank you, gentlemen. Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Appreciate it, and look forward to this thing becoming a reality. I guess that was all he was here for, too. Move along to our public hearing and possible approval of our special 6-day retail on sale liquor license on June 7th through the 12th for the Act 2 Incorporated, which is at 415 South Main Street. Looks like nobody's here to speak on that one, so I guess I would take a motion if someone was inclined.
So moved, and then when we're done with this, we should go back to item
D.
D.
Oh. Got ahead of myself.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion from Councilman Rux and a second from Councilman Rife on item E, which is out of order. Note in the minutes. We will take a roll or a voice vote on that one. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. We'll skip back to item D, which I overlooked. Sorry about that. Public hearing and possible approval to transfer retail on-sale liquor license and video lottery from Airport Fuel LLC, which is at 4707 6th Avenue Southeast, to Stephen Lust, which is at 1514 6th Avenue Southwest. It's currently in an inactive status. Joe, anything special on this one?
No.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion from Councilman Rux and a second from Councilman Lunsman. Any questions from the council on this? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we've got our possible approval of reappointment of Lon Gelhaus to the Airport Board for a 5-year term ending in June 30th, 2027.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reif and a second from Councilman Johnson. Any questions on Mr. Gelhaus's appointment? All right, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we've got the possible approval of agreements with NECOG for grant administration for total amount of $35,000. Joe, what can you tell us about that?
Yes, this is for two projects. One of them's a water tower grant that we're getting from economic development. Again, a federal grant. NECOG helped us put that application together, and now they'll help with the administration and compliance for the grant. And similarly with the wastewater project that we just talked about, the expansion, they will handle that, and also were very instrumental in getting the grant. So their services are very high quality and low cost. So we get a real good opportunity with this.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Remley and a second from Councilman Reinbold. Does anyone have any questions for Joe on this agreement? Jordan, would you give me a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the possible approval of the South Dakota Department of Transportation Section 5311 funding agreement in the amount of $193,573.67 to assist in covering operational costs for the Ride Line fiscal year 2021 and authorize the city manager to sign that funding agreement. Rich is here to tell us about that. Transportation Director Rich Krokel, what can you tell us?
Yep, as you stated, Mayor, it's a supplemental agreement for $193,573.67, and it's going to cover operating costs for Red Line. And we're asking for council's permission to allow city manager to sign for this.
So moved.
Second.
And a motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilman Ruck. So it is actually for last year's fiscal year? Or
Fiscal year 21, yeah.
any other questions from anyone? Jordan, would you give us a roll call, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the possible, thank you for joining us tonight, Rich, appreciate it. Next, we've got the possible approval of payment request number 1 in the amount of $58,629.79 to CWF Masonry for construction work on the street maintenance concrete repair project. Robin?
So this is the drainage improvements, items associated with drainage improvements, typically curb and gutter, valley gutter, things like that, boulevard restoration for our street where we do our patching and sealing. And we did some last fall, and this will be the completion of it so that our street crew can have things buttoned up by around July 4th so they can get their patching finished up and start seal coating the area. So this is primarily in the southeast part of town, and things are moving along well.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reif and a second from Councilman Lunsman. Does anyone have any questions for City Engineer Robin Bobzien? Jordan?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. We'll move along to our review and approval of claims and payroll. The bill period is for this week, June 6th, and the payroll is for May 22nd through June 4th, as well as our share of Social Security insurance, retirement, and life insurance. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Councilman Lunsman, second from Councilman Reif. Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote on the bills and claims and payroll?
Councilmember Ronayne,
I vote aye on most of them and abstain as to the payments to Neil and Joan Velica and David Shoemaker, but otherwise aye.
Councilmember Remley,
Aye to most of it, as well as, item for payment for Ashton Remley. I will abstain on that, but aye on the rest of it.
Councilmember Lensman,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye, but abstain on the payroll item for Mitchell Rocks.
Mayor Shonneman.
Feel left out not having a child in the payroll, I guess. So I'll just vote for it. Aye. Motion does carry. Move along to our city manager's report. Joe.
A few things, since we're in the month of June now, the budget process for 23 is moving along. Department heads have turned in their request, and we will meet next week to review those. Robin's been working on the capital improvement budget, and we'll meet later this week to talk about some of that. And then last week I sent you the promotion fund applications and rating materials for that. That's always the tough one. $1.7 million in requests with $1.2 million in funding. So you have to shrink down $500,000. But if you could have that back by the next meeting, then we'll compile them and bring them in for further discussion. The next meeting on the 20th, that's the Juneteenth holiday is when it's observed. That's a new federal holiday. So as a reminder, we'll have to have the meeting on Tuesday, as Monday is a holiday. And then we had one employee recognition in May that was towards the end of the month, and we finally got celebrated. But it was a big one. 20 years, Mike Eliason in the fire department as a lieutenant, and we appreciate his service. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Mike, for toughing it out 20 years in the fire department. Take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
And a motion from Councilman Reif and a second from Councilman Remley, who narrowly beat out Councilman Ronayne. This data delay.
As he often does.
I'm sure. All in
But
favor.
it won't be much longer.
That's what I understand. All in favor? He's on the ballot. You never know. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.